the key things to these. Elevation goes up, depression goes down. The key though, they both have to start from a horizontal line. So if I say angle of elevation, you have to have a horizontal line and it's the angle going up from that. If it's an angle of depression, it's starting at a horizontal line and going down. So that is the key. These are always from the horizontal. So we are just going to look at some problems, see if we can draw a picture. And then yesterday we practiced solving for given pieces. Make sure you have a calculator and make sure it's in degree mode. So let's look at this one. The angle of depression from the top of a tree to a point on the ground. So I have a tree. You can be nice and artistic if you want, or if you just want to draw a vertical line, I don't really care. It's going from the top of the tree, but if I'm going to have an angle of depression, what do I need to draw at the top of my tree? We need a horizontal line. Okay, so I'm just going to draw a dashed line here. That's my horizontal. So from there to a point on the ground, so we have some point on the ground. So my angle is right here from that horizontal line down. So that angle of depression is 60.4 degrees. And the point is 15.5 meters from the base of my tree. This is 15.5. No matter what your artistic ability, at this point, what have we just created? A right triangle. Okay, we are going to assume that our tree is forming a right angle. So now we just have to find the height of the tree. So I am looking for this side here, my x. To do this, we need an angle inside my triangle. Is the 60.4 in my triangle? No. We have two ways of getting it. Can you tell me one way to find an angle in my triangle? Okay. You do 90 minus 60.4. That would give us the angle at the top. So we get 29.6 degrees. So we have an angle. Did anyone have a different option? You could have done alternate interior angles. Remember at the beginning we talked about some angle relationships. So this angle and this angle would be the same. So you could have said that's 60.4. I don't care. You just have to have one angle in the triangle. So if I'm picking this, we're thinking back to SOHCAHTOA. This is opposite. This is adjacent. What trig function would we use?
Tangent.
The tangent, 29.6 degrees equals 15.5 over x. Okay, you can multiply your x over, but then what am I going to have to do?
Divide 15.5 by tangent of 29.6.
Type that in, 15.5 divided by tangent 29.6. So how many significant digits did we have in the problem? 3. So if I round my answer to 3 significant digits, I would get and that was the height, so that one's measured in meters, 7.3 meters. Is that one okay? So kind of like yesterday, I put several examples on here. We'll practice them until we're doing okay with it. Any questions about this problem? The length of a shadow of a flagpole, 55.20 feet tall. So what should I do? All right, here's my flagpole. I'll even put a flag on it. I'm just that artistic. All right, I know it's 55.20, so how many significant digits is that? 4. All right, here's a tricky question. It never fails. I'll put a question on the test or quiz with a shadow, and people don't know where the shadow goes. Where's your shadow? On the ground. Okay, thank you. So my shadow is down here, and the length of that shadow is 27.65. Find the angle of elevation of the sun. So sun's up here in the sky. Angle of elevation would go from a horizontal line up. So I'm just asking you to find this angle here. What trig function could I do?
Tangent of theta.
Tangent's opposite over adjacent. If we want an angle, how do we find it?
Tangent.
We said we needed 4 significant digits. So 63.39 degrees. So faster than yesterday's problems because we're only finding one piece in the triangle, not all of them. Do you guys think you could try to set one up? So see if you can draw a picture. We have a building. If I want the angle of depression, that means from a horizontal down, and I'm measuring the angle of depression from the top. So I have to have a horizontal line at the top of this building. And from there down to a point on the ground, the angle that's formed is 32 degrees, 30 minutes. How far is the point on the ground from the top of the building if the building is 252 meters high? So this is my height, 252. I want to know the distance from the point to the top of the building. So I'm looking for my hypotenuse this time. Okay, we have to have an angle in the triangle. So we can either subtract from 90 to get this one up here, or if we remember alternate interior angles, we know this one down here would also be 32 degrees, 30 minutes. Are you guys okay with me just doing that? So now I know an angle in my triangle, so I have opposite and hypotenuse. What trig function? Sine 32 degrees, 30 minutes equals 252 over x. So multiply over the x, and then we can divide. Does everyone remember how to do the degrees and minutes in your calculator? You push the sign, and you do 32 plus 30 over 60. How many significant digits? So we'd say 169 meters. Any questions on? So key, if I'm saying elevation or depression, you have to draw in a horizontal line first and measure it from there. Those are the questions on your homework, but I do want to look at one of these. I'm not going to give them to you on your homework until the next section, but I wanted to take a look at least one of them. The distance from A to D is 32 feet. Solve for x. Okay, our trig functions require what kind of triangle? A right triangle. How many right triangles do I have? Two. I have this smaller triangle. This side is x, this is 54, and that's h. And then I have the entire triangle. This is h, this is 38. What's the bottom side on this entire triangle?
32 plus x.
Yes. You have to add the two measurements together. Okay. Do I have enough information in either triangle to just find x right away? No. So I'm going to have to use both of them. So let's start with this first one. H is opposite, x is adjacent. What trig function is that? So the tangent of 54 equals h over x. Okay, I can multiply over my x, but then I'm pretty well stuck because I don't know x and I don't know h. So let's abandon that for a minute. Come over to this triangle. I again have opposite and adjacent, so I would do tangent 38 equals my opposite side h, and my adjacent x plus 32. Again, you can multiply over the denominator. But then I'm kind of stuck. Yeah. Yes. Why are we able to do that? Yeah, both of these things are equal to h. That means they're equal to each other. So we can make a new equation where we say x tangent of 54 degrees equals x plus 32 tangent of 38 degrees. Okay, is this a fast problem? No. But really, I gave you problems uglier than that to solve in college algebra. Okay, this is solving an equation. You've solved much worse equations. Tangent of 54, tangent of 38, those are just representing some number. So we have to start by distributing. And when you multiply that, the x and the 32 just go in front. So it's just x tangent of 38 degrees plus 32 tangent of 38 degrees. Both of these terms have x in them, so what should I do?
Subtract.
Unfortunately, they're not like terms, so I can't actually subtract and make it like tangent of a different angle, but I can put them on the same side. All right. I know it's ugly. Have I lost anybody? We are 2 steps from the answer. What do both of these terms have in them?
X.
An x. So what should I do with that x? Take it out. So now I have x times something, so to get it by itself, we just divide. Okay. When you put this in your calculator, it will help you a lot if you can view it as a fraction. So if you're using these, the non-graphing ones, there's an N over D button you can use. If you're using the graphing ones, hit alpha, y equals. and just enter. So then you can see it as a fraction and make sure you are typing things in correctly. Make sure you close your parentheses after you type in the angles. Did you guys get 42.0119? Remember, the original problem asked me to find for x, so I'm done. If I asked you to find h, what would you have had to do? Yeah, or you could even go back here. We already have a formula for what h is equal to and plug it in there. If I didn't specify, but if I did significant digits, I only gave you 2 in the problem, so we would round this to 42. All right. I don't want to dwell on these a whole lot yet. We will see problems like this pop up periodically, so I know they're a lot of work. I'm just going to try to show them to you a few times before we really get to them. Are there any questions for me? Okay. So you have that handout from yesterday. I want you to work on that now so you have a lot of time to ask questions, check your